Windows opens and a door shuts. Let's talk to Reuters correspondent Ryan Vlaselica. Ryan, this surprised everybody over at Microsoft, everybody on Wall Street. Steven Sinofsky, head of Windows, he's gone 2 weeks after the debut of Windows 8.
Absolutely. Very surprisingly there, not only because we didn't have a lot of warning about this going into this, but people really expected that he might be in line for CEO, the big position of all the company. So it's certainly very surprising to see he's just gone out of there. Now, Reuters is reporting that this was consensual. It's not some kind of like weird behind-the-scenes ousting or anything like that, but certainly it is very surprising, very concerning. You see the stock today is down more than 3%. It's just people are trying to figure out what's the deal with this management shakeup.
That's right. I mean, I feel like there's going to be more information that's going to come out about this because we know that he was an aggressive guy. Some reports are saying that possibly he alienated some. He was Bill Gates' guy for a while, but then he didn't have many back. I mean, but he had a long, kind of storied and successful career there.
Absolutely, and it's funny to see this happening so soon after a similar story broke at Apple after Tim Cook fired the mobile head. I forget his name.
Scott Forstall.
That's it, yeah. So here we have two companies that are sort of defined by the personality of their founder, Bill Gates and Steve Jobs. The new people take over, Steve Ballmer and Tim Cook, and they are sort of having some little bit of shaking around with the upper management, people loyal to the old boss and so forth. So just coincidental between the two companies, but it's very interesting to see these two things come up right after each other, right after a large product launches.
That's true, and a line in actually our Reuters piece that's saying that perhaps the Ballmer, knowing now that Forstall is available after leaving Apple, maybe he wants to fill this slot with Scott Forstall.
We'll see.
We'll have to see, but as you mentioned, the stock's down nearly 3%. And just very quickly, Julie Larson-Green now takes over as head of hardware and software. Tammy Reller is the Windows CFO. All right, let's talk some retail. Michael Kors, are you a fan? Handbags, watches?
Of course.
Of course. Of course, he says. All right, second quarter income more than tripled. Company raises full year outlook. They've had a lot of good news. You know,
Absolutely.
put the guy in a reality show and gangbusters.
We're seeing strong demand both here and in Europe for Michael Kors product, which is sort of surprising considering all the issues going on in Europe.
Gotta have a good handbag.
Absolutely. The whole region's going to hell in a handbag, but it's a lovely handbag. So again, that's surprising to see, but it's also encouraging, at least for this company. I don't know how much we're going to read discretionary spending at large as a result of this, but certainly if you you own Michael Kors, you're doing quite nicely. It seems like it's been a while since we've talked about them in any sort of negative way.
That's true. All right. Saks Fifth Avenue, however, like a lot of retailers here on the East Coast, hit hard by Superstorm Sandy.
Absolutely. They came out and said that their same-store sales in the current quarter would be sort of flat, largely because of the impact of the storm, which a lot of stores were closed and so forth. Just sort of gave them a delay start to this quarter. And of course, one of their biggest stores, their flagship one, right here on Fifth Avenue. And with so much of New York just shut down, they just weren't doing much there, and that's like the big one that you want to have open and running.
So holiday sales not looking particularly great. They also did a spike in promotions, which they said hurt their margins there, so they're down 1.5% today. All right, let's move on and talk about Dick's Sporting Goods, different type of retailer here. Third quarter, they have all great news over at Dick's.
Absolutely. So going from a high-end retailer to a lower-end one, and from bad news to good news, they had very good earnings, very good sales, and they had a very good outlook, which they raised. Strong demand, and their stock is, you can see this spike right there is today.
Up about 5% today.
Yeah, very good news over there at Dick's.
All right, you know, they also own Golf Galaxy, never been in that store, and they have the rights to Top Flight from Callaway that they bought. So it seems like we're always also talking about, even in bad times, folks are still playing golf. Not me, are you?
Miniature golf.
Miniature golf, putt-putt golf. That I like. That I can do. All right, let's look at the broader markets now at the market monitor here and see what's going on, because we started down today, but now things are looking much better.
Absolutely. Been seeing a lot of volatility in markets over the past couple of days. We started the day much lower, largely on concerns about the fiscal cliff and so forth. Microsoft weighed the NASDAQ, and you can see gains there a little bit limited because of that. But we did turn around in the past couple of hours. There are rumors out there that there's progress being made in Europe. That's obviously very encouraging. Even with the big fiscal cliff issue going on, we still have Europe that's still in the background. If that's making some progress, that's going to be good for the markets, even if it's not what's first and foremost on people's mind. But that did look like that is one of the main things that's sort of lifting us up midday.
All right, another thing that's helped to turn around the Dow today is Home Depot, because as we see signs of the housing recovery, you know, so goes Home Depot up in terms of, you know, you're building new homes or you're repairing ones from the storm, you need the supplies.
Good news just all around today for companies raising their outlooks. Home Depot is the latest one, sort of in the opposite vein from Saks. They actually benefit from Superstorm Sandy. Just as people make repair work, they're buying supplies, not from Saks, but from Home Depot, obviously. So they're doing quite nicely today. They're the biggest gainer on the Dow and the biggest gainer on the S&P 500 in terms of percentage. So very good news over there.
Up about 4.5% today. Okay. You know it, you love it, the hotspot. Let's go there. And as we do, check out the snaps. Remember, at the bottom of the screen for more of the headlines of the day. Moving on to steel, AK Steel. Down, down, down big today. Fourth quarter loss bigger than expected.
Right. They expect to report a fourth quarter loss bigger than on a sequential basis from their third quarter. Just another sign that the whole material space continues to struggle amid global weak demand and so forth. That stock was down about 8% earlier. Now it's down about 12%. So just a lot of weakness over there.
All right. Finally, talk about Greenbrier here. They make railroad freight cars, repair them, refurbish them. Carl Icahn getting his fingers in there. He's got a little bit less of a 10% stake, and he may want to revisit merging Greenbrier with American Railcar. He tried to do this back in 2008, didn't have success then. Just as an aside, in transportation, you know, he issued not that long ago a tender offer for Oshkosh, big company, trucking among other things. Poison pill developed by the board, but he said he was just trying to drive the stock price up. Anyway, in terms of Greenbrier, the market liking what it sees with his involvement there and his interest, stock's up about 17% right now. Carl Icahn, what do you think? He's all over the place.
He's iconic.
He's iconic. And on that note, Mr. Pun, thank you very much, Ryan Vlastelica. Remember, follow us on Twitter at Reuters Insider and check out our YouTube channel, Reuters.com/ReutersTV. I'm Lisa Bernhard. This is Reuters.